Hello everyone. We will not do programs today, but we will associate flowchart with a program. So we will discuss four comparisons of a flowchart and the programming. So the four are: the first is the straightforward flowchart, then a decision making flowchart, the third one is a flowchart with loops, and the fourth one is a flowchart with functions. The straightforward flowchart is a flowchart with no diamond or decision-making symbols or functions. Each operation in the flowchart corresponds to a command in programming. So our example here is a flowchart that solves the area of the rectangle. So the start corresponds to the main with open curly brace. The input value of length and width corresponds to the scanf of length and scanf of width. And the computation of the area of the rectangle also corresponds to area equals length times width. And then to output the area, it corresponds to printf the area. Then the stop corresponds to the return 0 and the close curly brace. In a decision-making flowchart, so it uses the diamond symbol. It is like traveling and ends up choosing two paths or more. Some are short and others are long, but at the end, you will reach the same destination. So this time, you will need an if-else statement. So our example here is to check if the perimeter is greater, the area is greater, or they are equal. So still the same, the start corresponds with the main and open curly braces. The input value of length and width corresponds to scanf. Then the computation of area and perimeter are also the same. Then in the diamond, which is perimeter greater than area, it corresponds to if perimeter is greater than area. If it is a yes, then you print the perimeter and it corresponds to printf. If it is a no, then another if statement. If perimeter is less than the area. If this is a yes, then you will print that area is greater. And if it is no, then we are sure that both are equal. So you printf that they are equal, and then the stop is to return 0 and close curly brace. Okay? Let's go to the flowchart with loops. So it is also using the diamond symbol. So this is different because you need to repeat some process until you are satisfied or succeeded. So it is like traveling and you forgot something, so you go back to where you left it. So the comparison here is to use the dual statement. So let's go back with the our previous flowchart that will not end until the area is greater than the perimeter. Okay? So still the start corresponds to the main, and you will see that there's an arrow there. Okay? It corresponds to the do statement. And then the same, you input the value of length and width, then assign the value of area and perimeter, then you compute, and then the decision making whether the area is greater than the perimeter corresponds to the while statement, area less than or equal the perimeter. So as you notice that the condition between the diamond and the while statement are opposite, because if the condition in the diamond is false, then it will go back to where the arrow points. That's that's the reason why it is opposite with the while. If it is a yes, then it will print at last, and it will also exit the loop, the while loop. And then the stop corresponds with return 0 and close braces. Okay? Let's go to the function in a flowchart. So we will use the previous flowchart, but now we will create a function that solves the area and the perimeter of the rectangle. It is like entering a house during travel and exits after you finish your goal. In this case, you need to call a predefined or a built-in function. So let's go to the main flowchart. Okay, so we will start here. It corresponds with the main. Then the arrow pointing there, it corresponds with the do. Then instead of solving the area and perimeter, you call the function that solves the area and perimeter. And that also corresponds with the C program that calls the area and perimeter. Then the same, and it checks the area and perimeter, then a while loop, and printing at last, and stop. Okay, so let's check the function that solves the area of perimeter. It is just a straightforward, there's a start. It is not a main but the name of the function. Still, it inputs the value of length and width, scanf, and also solves the area and perimeter. And then it outputs the area and perimeter, and then stop. Okay? If you have questions, you can ask on the FB group. Okay? So don't worry if you can't familiarize with the C program codes, because we will discuss them next week. Complicated flowcharts are combinations of the previous examples. So this ends our lesson for today. And again, we will start a real programming in C next week. Thank you.